So here we go. So this year you would have noticed that our theme is more flow, and that for the first time we have also now a theme song element to the competition. We've become quite famous for the poster competition, which we hold every year, which then becomes the official poster for the festival. But this year, from taking kind of influence from last year, having a theme song and seeing how it really changed the way people approach the festival, we are deciding to also kind of make this a kind of new element for what we do here at Fak'ugesi. To give you a sense of our theme, which is more flow, we're really interested in this, our 10-year anniversary. So, I mean, that's also quite a milestone to reach 10 years as a festival. To give you a sense, most festivals, and this is a kind of worldwide number, most festivals don't make it past 1 or 2 years. Very few make it past 3 years. So 10 years is quite a big thing to reach this. So we're quite proud of that. And for our 10-year festival theme, we're kind of really interested in more flow. Of course, we work in the digital innovation space, and there's often really a kind of narrative around, because things are being done more online, we have more kind of support around us, that means we need to, have more data, more information, more work, more pressure all the time. And we're actually interested to shift the intention this year and to think about, what do we do with all of this technology and support around us to have more flow, to have a life that creates less resistance and more benefit for all of us? And we think that that's really also an amazing thing that kind of technology can help us along the way, is to make our lives more fulfilling and kind of easier with more output. So I thought I'd just give a very quick overview of our festival last year. So these are 2022 numbers. One of the really big things that we do is we bring what we call intermediaries or pros. So these are like the glue of the creative sector. People like publishers and distributors and curators. They really come to Fak'ugesi as the place to see what's happening in the digital creative space around Africa. And these people are from all over the continent, so really a broad mix across the range. We're really focused around youth, so 85% of our audience is 18 to 35-year-old. We were really happy last year that we've broken the percentage of female participation to being above 50%, or it's larger than the male section, together with a kind of queer representation up at 5%. This is really rare for a kind of digital innovation festival. It's usually crazily swerved towards male participation. So we're very proud of having this percentage. And then, we're really a place for cultural organizations from across the world also to come and showcase work and to collaborate with Africa. So we're really proud of being able to bring those kind of partners to our festival. So what can you expect for this year? We're keeping a lot of the elements that we had last year. So from our conference, which had amazing talks from panelists from all over Africa and all skill levels, to our expo, which also had incredible partners that we worked with to show their work to the world. We had amazing project partners from Meta to Electric South to the Goethe Institute, who showed work and different projects here. Also the Wits School of Arts, who did a very interesting VR project. And then our normal events and mixes, which is really where you get to mix with those intermediaries and pros that we had kind of mentioned before. Part of programs that we have a lot of different satellite programs. One of the best elements of the festival last year was our Family and Makers Day, which is really made for families and their children. It was super packed with people. We had our jams, which was, it's a kind of competition where video game and animation creators made things in a very short time. This year we're going to focus on the video game because there was an amazing energy, incredible outputs. There was the awards. The first year that it happened was last year. It was extremely well received. This is a Pan-African Awards for digital creativity, and it's the first award of its kind across the continent. We had amazing winners. You can see that on our website. We're doing it again this year. We're hoping to really ramp that up. There's the intermediaries, which, again, it's bringing the pros from around Africa to be able to speak and understand what are the industry issues that we're dealing with and try and solve them. And then a program of ours called Digital Lab Africa, which is a bootcamp and acceleration program, which we're really ramping up this year in an interesting way. So keep tuned for that, for more information on that too. Then I'm going to come through to the kind of poster elements, because we've already had our poster competition running since 2019. We didn't have it in the earlier years. And in fact, in the first year, we didn't even have a poster at all. So, we keep leveling things up. That's how we kind of work at Fak'ugesi. I'll kind of show you, this was the first competition winner poster, which was Lee LaRue, which is one of my favorites too. So to give you a sense, is each year the poster really gives a kind of an identity and a feeling for what the festival is going to be like this year. You can see the poster that Sam won with last year, which I'm very proud of this poster, the kind of energy it created in Joburg around the time of the festival, and hopefully your poster and song here soon. I'm going to split soon then to dealing with Sam, talking a bit about his experience and Nontoko's about hers. But before that, to give you a sense of who the jury will be for this year, is for the poster, there's Samuel, the winner from last year, and we have Nadira Patel, who's an incredible artist, designer, and illustrator, and also an architectural educator who works in design. So we're very happy to have her on the jury this year. And then from the music side, we have Jackie Queens, who's a house music vocalist and cultural worker, an amazing performer. Saw her just a few weeks ago. It was an incredible performance. And then we have Sizo Hlope, who's a music executive and cultural producer from Eswatini. He's also a peer mentor in our Digital Lab Africa program, which I mentioned to you earlier. So we're very happy to have this jury together. I think it's going to be a really exciting discussion they'll have to select the winner for 2023. That's it in terms of the presentation. I think next I'll hand over to Sam to talk a bit about his experience of winning the poster competition last year, and some of what it kind of meant, his thinking around applying, and then what it was like also going through the process of winning. So Sam, maybe introduce yourself a bit also, and what you're kind of practicing.
Hi everyone, my name's Sam, obviously. I'm an illustrator and graphic designer based here in Joburg. And yeah, I won last year's poster competition for Fak'ugesi. I actually applied in like the last, I think, 2 weeks of the deadline. And yeah, I kind of grinded it out. It started like just seeing how the theme reflected with myself personally, and then just brainstorming ideas from there on, and then yeah, just working to my strengths pretty much. And that's pretty much it.
And Sam, could you give people a sense also in terms of also from the illustration side, some of those technicalities? It's some of the biggest questions we get is around, what do you mean with vector? Can't I just send you some JPEG? Could you maybe elaborate on that a bit?
All right, so it's a technical difference between vector and raster. So vector is basically the drawing that you make is pretty much in the computer, it's calculated mathematically. So basically, once it's been printed or the vector image has been created, it can be scaled up or down infinitely pretty much. Whereas if you send in something like a JPEG that you did in Photoshop or something like that, if we then take it and then blow it up to a huge size to be advertised, it's going to be extremely pixelated. So that's why the format has to be in vector. So preferably in an Illustrator document or whatever vector format software that you use, like Krita, or I don't know, I think GIMP does it as well. So yeah, make sure it needs to be in vector format.
Yeah, and I mean, to give people a sense, is like these posters get like blown up really huge.
Yeah.
We had the ones at the festival. There were some in giant like digital billboards across Johannesburg. So we really do, it's not okay to just scale it up and have a blurry thing in a giant format. We want amazing, beautiful graphics at all sizes. And maybe could you add also then, because that was one of the kind of things with your poster, it really stood out for us when it's connected to our theme last year. So our theme last year was from now on. So could you maybe kind of also talk about how you approached applying with the theme and your graphic and kind of unifying those things together?
Okay, so like I said, you need to look at the theme and you need to connect some aspect of it to your personal life. I think that is extremely important, because otherwise your illustration or your graphic is not going to have any kind of personality to it. So your character needs to kind of shine through on that. You need to tell your own story. You need to remix it somehow. Yeah, your personal story shines through in your artwork, and just spend a lot of time on
Hi, Sam. I think you might have frozen on the connection side. I think you were saying something very interesting. So when you get back, I'll loop you back in. But then maybe in the meantime, we'll pass on over. Sam was talking about also the kind of characters. Actually, I mean, that's from the poster from last year. So we had this amazing character called Maya, who was our kind of mascot for the year. And in a way, we're kind of carrying over still into this year. We really loved her as a mascot and want to kind of keep her on. And that's a kind of a really good segue also then to Nontokozo, who was well, we call her Maya, because she kind of did take over that role. And maybe I'll also just play a bit the video that we had last year, which will give you a sense of Nontokozo's like voiceover. So she played the character of Maya, and then also in the background you'll hear her song, which was the kind of theme song for the festival. So let me share my screen and show that part of the video. Let me share my sound too. There we go. I'm excited about my future and all the things from now on.
Hi, I'm Maya, and this is Fak'ugesi, Africa's leading digital innovation festival. Join us online and in Joburg for conferences, expos, jams, showcases, and awards from 13 to 21 October. Tickets available now on fak'ugesi.com.
All right, so there you also get a sense of the kind of partners we work with, some quite impressive names from around the world. So I think that's also some of the kind of benefit we offer in winning this competition, is also getting your work seen by, a really big audience that is part of the festival. So the voice that you heard there is Nontokozo, so I thought I'd give Nontokozo over to just talk a bit about her theme song and the experience of having that in Fak'ugesi.
Okay, cool. Hi guys, I'm Maya. I'm joking. My name is Nontokozo. My artist name is Kankali, and I am a singer and songwriter based in Johannesburg. And creating the theme song kind of happened by accident. It kind of happened by accident. I really wasn't expecting it, but the theme of the festival, which was from now on, and the messaging behind my song Sunshine really aligned. And the meaning behind Sunshine was bringing in a new beginning and looking forward to the future and just moving forward. And I felt like that really aligned with the theme as well. So just another thing to note, if you're going to be entering into the song competition, it's really important to understand the theme and what the theme means to you. It's not limited to any genre, any language, or any, yeah. I would advise to keep it cute and keep it clean. Please refrain from using any offensive language and anything that really might offend anyone. And let me just take my notes. Also, your song should be 1 minute to 2 minutes 30 seconds long, and really try and embrace the theme as much as you can. And also, if you can, really look at the history of Fak'ugesi. Just take some time and really understand what Fak'ugesi is and what Fak'ugesi stands for. And what I believe Fak'ugesi stands for is empowering artists, digital artists, and building a sense of community and really looking towards the future. So if you have a sound that you might feel like is a little bit different, it's probably going to work. And if you feel like you have a song that you've already created before, that could work as well. It just needs to be able to be reworded or reworked as well, because that's what I did with Sunshine as well. And you will be winning 5,000 Rand. And I performed at the opening of the festival last year. I don't know if that's going to be available to the winners this year, especially if one of the winners may be from outside of South Africa, but that could be possible, let's say, if you are in Nigeria or any other country, if that's possible. But the most important thing is try your best to really don't overthink it too much. The song you're probably afraid of is the song that's probably going to work. And I think you guys are going to really enjoy the experience. I really enjoy working with the Fak'ugesi team, and they're really amazing people, and you're definitely going to enjoy it. And hopefully your song aligns with the poster as well. So that's it from my side.
Oh, I see that Samuel is back. Samuel, do you want to just add on a bit what you were talking about in terms of bringing your character into what you're presenting?
Yeah, I don't know where I cut off, but like I was saying that you need to link it to your life in some type of way, make the process a lot easier. And I think for me as a juror, I think as bonus points, if you can incorporate some type of story element, like a character or something like that, just something that the audience can associate themselves with, to relate to, something like that. I think those are big brownie points in my book. Other than that, just like Nontokozo was saying, if your style is kind of like out there a bit, it's also bonus points as well. But I don't advise you to like go out of your way to make something that's outside of your wheelhouse. A little bit maybe, but like try and stick to your strengths as well. So yeah.
Yeah, I think that's brilliant advice. I mean, it might be interesting to describe how we ended up using Sunshine as the song. So Samuel had also made that video that you saw, and we were looking for music and having quite a lot of trouble. And then, Kankali kind of came out as part of our team and said, well, I have this song, what do you think about it? And the moment I heard it, it was just, we had already selected the poster winner at that time. The moment I heard it, I was like, but this matches the theme for the festival so perfectly. Like, this is going to work. So in a way, also that's kind of, it's the hard thing with these kind of competitions. We had brilliant poster, like the finalists were amazing last year, but sometimes it's just that connection with the theme. That it's not to say that your work isn't great. Like, we've had also, and interestingly, like people who have applied, like Samuel had applied previously also, or hadn't you? Yeah. apply for many years. There was the winner also of the 2021 had previously applied and then won. So don't get demotivated if you have applied. One thing we're also trying to do is we're going to share the kind of top 5 finalists and, you know, talk about your work in the public, allow the public to vote. Last year we also had a kind of public vote for the kind of fan favorites, which was different to Sam as the winner. So yeah, we're looking forward to seeing kind of as many things as possible. So maybe now we can actually open up to questions from people. You're welcome to type in the chat, or if you want to say your question to us, then you can also kind of raise your hand and then we can add you to kind of speak your question to us. All right, let me open up the chat and see. All right. Yes, go ahead, Janani.
Hello, Peter here. And I
Yeah.
wanted to ask, in terms of the poster, right? Like the banning all around, like the Fak'ugesi Innovation Festival 2023, the logos and everything, does it also have to be incorporated within the art piece itself, or do we just slap it after?
Yeah, we don't want to kind of give that to begin so that you can really apply with your kind of imagery from the get-go. You know, there's, and as Sam might attest, there was quite a lot of work that afterwards adding those logos. We don't want to restrict your creativity at this stage. It can be a really heavy thing, those logos. They will be added eventually, but at this stage, give us your full creativity on that A3 page, like really make your design stand out.
Thank you very much.
Pleasure. Any other question? I'm trying to think also of general questions we get through. So a big question that always gets asked is, how many posters can I apply with? I mean, you can apply with an infinite amount, but I don't suggest it. The winners have always been the ones who apply with one. And I can tell you, like, when we do a kind of pre-selection, so the jury gets given the top kind of 10 that come through, and then we kind of show the top 5 finalists to the public. We can immediately tell who's put the energy into that one amazing application. It doesn't take long to see who those top 10 are usually. So my suggestion would also be like, put your energy into one really brilliant application. You know, we're dealing at a level where the people who apply are like the top people in their kind of industry. You will be able to tell if that energy is spread over 5 different posters that you've sent through. Right, yeah, Peter, go ahead.
So I also wanted to ask, because earlier you said you love the design of Maya, and in taking Maya as the official mascot, would you like Maya to be also part of the poster in itself, or like Sam said earlier, where he said have a character that tells a story? Would it be possible if it's a different character or a character that connects to Maya in such a way, or in a certain way?
I think it's good to bring your characters on. So we can always create a family of people. I think like Sam really hit a home run with Maya, but that's his personality, his character that is bringing forth through this kind of representation. So I don't know, maybe Maya needs a brother or something. We don't know. It could be anything. I mean, literally anything. It could also be a creature. We don't know.
Yeah. Thank you.
Your creativity to it and your uniqueness. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Pleasure. So we have an audience question. Can we have it read out? Sorry, I can't open the chat. Okay, so someone's asking if the competition can be applied for in a group. I guess so. I mean, especially probably in
I
music,
think it makes sense, yeah.
that might really be the case. To probably be quite hard with the poster, but I don't see why not. But it could be quite challenging. There's no restriction to that, so you're welcome to apply as a group. I guess you could be an artist duo and be applying for the poster with that. So yeah, no restrictions on that. We're always willing to be surprised. So as long as the work is good, we will have a look at it. Yeah. Maybe also to add, because Nontokozo was mentioning the fact that she was able to kind of perform the theme during the festival. We can't at this stage guarantee being able to travel and do something like a performance, but it is something that we'll look into. So the winner will kind of be selected, and then we'll look at what the opportunities are possible. Okay, I see a question here around, are there brand colors? So this was something that happened in previous Fak'ugesi poster competitions. There was kind of a brand guide of colors that we put through that then people had to work to. We stopped that last year, and I think we were very happy with how this worked, because Sam made his poster, it had these incredible colors that came with it, and then we worked with him to create the kind of brand guide for this year. We want to really do that this year too. Do your work, make it part of the way you work and the way you bring like illustration to life, and the whole Fak'ugesi will change to what you've done. So I think that's something we're really excited to bring on. One thing you'll notice in the call is that there's a folder of 5 textures. So last year we had 5 textures which were connected to space and glitter, like quite colorful things. Samuel chose the one that looked a little bit more like space, but they were all forms of glitter in different photographs. This year we have 5 textures of water, 5 very different kinds. We do ask that you include one of those textures kind of as a small element. Remember, everything needs to be kind of vectorized, so it can't be like a big part of the poster, but we like a sense of water. So coming together with a theme, being more flow, there's also the sense of like water being a kind of influencing part of the festival this year. All right, any other questions? Or Sam, if you have any comments, feel free to kind of bring it up. Yeah, Peter, go ahead.
I wanted to ask, so with the textures themselves, are we also allowed to alter them, maybe change the cropping size, or do we have to just take it as is?
Yeah, no, you can use it as you want. As you can see in like Sam's one that he used last year, he really used it almost as like a window into this kind of space kind of feeling. You're really welcome to use it as you want. It could be used in any way. It could be a texture on an object, could be a window thing, could be a river. I mean, it can really be what you kind of imagine it to be. Probably the more better. Yeah.
Thank you.
Cool. Maybe, I mean, there's no equivalent of that for the music element, so we really leave you free to create anything. But I think you have a comment here.
Since some of the elements in the poster are water, try and incorporate sounds that encompass water, like a stream, rain, sound of wind, things that really encompass flow and sound element. Don't be afraid to experiment with like what flow means to you as well. But the elements of sound are water, streaming water, a ripple sound, the sound of wind and the sound of rain, and just what the sound of like flow means to you. It can be any genre, but try and just incorporate those elements in the song as well.
Yeah, and maybe some of the technicalities, because I know sometimes people don't read through all of the details of the call. So we had mentioned for the poster, it does need to be in vector. You will be disqualified if you apply with something that doesn't have a vector file attached to it. On the music side, we also do need the different tracks of your song.
Yes.
because we do things like the trailer that we had shown a bit earlier, that gets like screened on television and through adverts across Africa. We do need to be able to kind of take the different tracks and do different things with it.
It should be mixed and mastered. That's a very important element because it will be shown on television and will be shared across social media platforms as well. So it needs to sound good. It really needs to sound good. Please separate the vocals from the beats, as Eduardo mentioned. WAV files and an MP3 files are accepted as well.
Yeah, I think that should be it. I don't know if there's any last burning questions for people. We will be then putting this recording together and putting it on the website so that you'll be able to refer to it later. And if we do get questions on social media, we're quite good at answering them pretty directly. And if there's anything that kind of changes the criteria, we'll also be updating the competition page on the Fak'ugesi.co.za website, so you can keep on having a look at that. Then, yeah, our deadline is kind of middle of March. So that gives you about a month left. We suggest to start working sooner rather than later. There won't be any extensions at all. So the deadline is the final deadline. It's strong competition, and we'd like to start talking about who the top 5 finalists are by the end of March. So we hope to be kind of talking about your work quite soon out there in the public. All right. Well, thanks, Ntokozo. Thanks, Sama, for joining us. And then looking forward to seeing all your applications soon. All right. Cheers, everyone.
Bye.